Yeah, so where were you with the lockdown? Were you in the van? Or
Yes, I was. Me and my partner at the time were locked down in Kerikeri Peninsula, Matai Bay.
Right.
So we were there for, I think it was about 7 or 8 weeks. So we lived through lockdown in the van. We had wash our clothes by hand. We had cold showers. There was no hot water. It was a really magic time, actually.
Yeah.
That was probably the catalyst event that really sort of tipped everything for me.
Yeah.
Just because when you're traveling in the van before that, I was like kind of like cheating in the way when I first started. Like I'd still go eat out at restaurants and do you know what I mean? Like I was kind of doing those sorts of nice things. So
did you go to a motel and get a shower there and that sort
of
stuff? Well,
occasionally, yeah. So like there'd be that as well. So, but in that period of time for 7 weeks, like it was really quite raw in terms of, well, I say raw because parts of the world, like in India, they'd laugh at me for saying that. But in New Zealand, for example, it was very grounding, and that was probably the catalyst event for me that really shook my core beliefs and just the whole idea of what life, the comfortable things we have in life and what we expect from it, and where that sort of where that balance point is. And obviously I don't want to be in a situation where I'm having to long drop toilets and wash my clothes by hand, but the contrast of living in Takapuna, beautiful beach town, cafes and bars, everything's walking distance, it's beautiful, to then into that environment, it gives you again that perspective of both ends of the scale. So it's been that was a really, really beautiful time, and I really humbled by that experience for sure.
So you're talking about a change of career. What was your career when you were based in Auckland?
Based in Auckland. So super privileged to have done commercial real estate for 7 years for 3 of the larger brands up there. Fantastic industry and great people, and it's just been such a massive growth phase for me, being involved in seeing that side of the world. But in saying that, I did actually get to the point with it where I felt, I kind of felt that a little bit numb about it, because we get told in society and media that you go to school, you get educated, you go to university, and you get a corporate job, and then start earning some money, and you have a nice car and a nice house, and you have all these beautiful things. And it was really beautiful, but it got to the point where my life was focused around that sort of those sort of items.
Material things.
Material things, exactly. And what I actually found is that I started to become quite numb and quite like just empty. So this is about 5 years into the career. And then, because I realised that, I left the farm to come to Auckland to chase this dream, to have this money in the car and all that. And then, when I got there and I have it, I just sort of felt completely empty. So Vanland was kind of the contrast, right? So I'm saying to myself that if life is what I'm being told to have, the success, the wealth and the money in the car and the house and all these things, but I arrive at that point and I'm still feeling empty. So then if I flip it on its head, what would that look like? And for me, living in a van is kind of the alternative of what society says that you should have as success. So by doing that, it's kind of put me in my position where I am now. So I've seen sort of both ends of the scale. And so that it's been a really, really big personal growth learning curve the last sort of year, and it's really shaped different beliefs and different ideas about what I actually want from my life. And it's still, it's obviously a journey. It's still here kicking along, but the future I'm excited about, because I know that it's not in the sense of the material wealth and all the fancy things that people strive for in their lives. And I know that living in a van is obviously not it either. So it's just about navigating that space now to find that sweet spot where I can feel fulfilled in my life and feel challenged and have a lifestyle that suits me, but without it being all glamorous and material based, which is what I used to think. So
And so as for income now, how are you managing an income now? Are you working along the way, or are you just sort of?
I picked up a few jobs. I've been lucky enough that my mate's actually he's a builder in Dunedin, and he gave me a gig for a week, and that was quite cool to be back on the tools and doing physical labour, because in the farm that's what I grew up with. That's all I ever did. But when I was in Auckland, it was all pen and paper, laptops, phones, that kind of stuff. So I think that too has been quite a cool contrast to actually get your hands dirty and just be back into the physical side of the world, rather than just, you know, on the phone or whatnot. But yeah, there's a few things that I'll be starting to get involved with, a bit of media production as well, and just, you know, getting into photos and videos for people around the country as I'm cruising around. I was thinking like wine and vineyards, things like that. They want media stuff done for them, or just sort of small gigs like that along the way. But most of my dealings with real estate have put me in a position that I was fortunate enough to be involved with an IT company in the States. So that's ticking along quite nicely over there as well. But yeah, it's definitely something that I'm going to be focusing on in the next sort of couple of months, about this new career path, like getting stuck into something that's going to make me tick, and get involved in something that's you know, not so much about money, but something that fulfills me, as you know, and what I do for a day-to-day job. Yeah.
The idea was to find some land, wasn't it? Is that still part of the plan?
It is, but I think it's a timing thing too, because like for me, that vision is to have a long-term partner to find that with, and to build out that that lifestyle with. That's the dream. So I don't actually have a partner at the moment, so I might. But again, I guess it's the surveying, right? So for now, traveling the country and just getting a feel for
what to do,
where you want to be. I guess the environmental side is something that's quite important to me. Yeah, I think it might even come from the fact that being on the land as a kid and just, you know, being in nature a lot is always something that's resonated with me, with the land. And so we're not in a great way, I don't think, at the moment, with the way that our country's run, with especially with our waste management, and just the lack of disregard that a lot of people still have for the environment. It's not ideal. Like, you know, I go to beaches and I go to places and I just find V cans and I find all sorts of rubbish. Just people just, you
plastic.
know, just, and then even like just driving too. Like there's one joker that we're in Wellington, there was a truck stop that had pulled over in the road and there was a bit of delay, and this guy was drinking beers and just throwing his cans out the window of the car. And you know, we had confronted him and just sort of told him to pick it up and put it on, and but it's just, it's quite.
How did that go?
To be honest, it wasn't a pretty sight. But it's just that's the thing that really eats me up the most, and I thought that with the content and the videos, if I was showing the beautiful landscapes that we have, maybe that would, you know, help with people to understand, like, look, we have such a beautiful place here, like maybe we should
look after it.
Look after it, exactly. And that's where my new series I'm going to start doing as well, is just basically taking my journaled thoughts and feelings down and putting into a video to explain different topics, largely around personal growth and development, where I've found success and things that have actually helped me. And I kind of thought, well, you know, if it's helped me, there's definitely got to be people out there that would benefit from this. Covering some topics that can actually help people reshape their beliefs and their thinking, and hopefully help them through a time where they may be struggling, you know.
Well, I think we've covered everything. Is there anything else you sort of throw in the mix?
I'm just be honest, I'm just really stoked to be on your show. Like, I'd really like to get a call or a message to say that my video had reached you and you're interested to talk. Was like, that made my day, actually. So
cool.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. That's really cool.
Well, thank you very much. And that's it. We're all done. Thank you for coming along. And guys out there, look up on Facebook and on YouTube as Vanland. And that's Aaron Smith. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming.